Hi and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we'll be brutally rating every single Juventus transfer in the last 5 years. That's every single one from the 2020-21 season to present day. And as always, boys, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're so close to 10k subs. Like the video, share it with some friends, and let me know in the comment section what you think about this, because this is just my opinion, not the correct opinion. As you can see, these are all the names. There's loads. Let's get into this swiftly. However, before we start, the categories are elite. Best of the best, great signing, great value for money, great performances, overall incredible. Good, you had your moments. Up and down, yes. Good price we got you on. Consistent performer, you were good. Decent, you're alright. You're mid. We didn't spend too much on you. Weren't many expectations. You did your job. Nothing too special. Forgettable, bro, going through this, there were so many players I even forgot wore black and white. You're just there. And flop. You didn't succeed at Juventus. You weren't good. We spent too much on you. Your performances were bad. All of that stuff. I'm going to try and combine everything. How much we spent on the players, their performances, their availability, their big moments, all of this good stuff. And what better place to start than the first player, Arthur Melo. I think we can all agree unanimously this is one of the worst transfers in Juventus' history. One of the worst transfers of all time. We spent 70, 80 odd million on the guy. It was a weird deal. Pjanic went to Barca. Arthur came to Juventus. I was gassed. I heard Messi speak so highly of this guy. He looked like the next big star in Europe. He looked like the next best young midfielder in the world. And I was like, yeah, we got a great deal. Pjanic was aging. Arthur was young. He'll succeed. Did he succeed? He was horrible. I mean, the fact that this guy is still on contract at Juventus, the fact that Giuntoli renewed this guy says everything. I mean, he's a flop and there's no debate about it. Next up, we got Rovella. Rovella's a weird one because we spent 26 odd million on him. We sold him for less to go to Lazio. He's now one of the best sixes in the country, but he just was never used at Juventus. Like, he never played. I can't really judge the guy on performances at the club because he barely played for Juventus. I was a bit upset when we let him go because I thought, wow, he could integrate himself nicely into Motta's team last year. But yeah, I think he will regret letting him leave the club, but I think Rovella is a good player. I'm going to put him in forgettable, though, because we barely remember him playing at Juventus. Moving on to Morata, and this is another thing, boys. I've included loan deals in here because a lot of our loan deals are actually quite good. And Morata was a loan. We obviously didn't re-sign the guy. He went back to Atletico Madrid. But Morata in those 2 years, I thought was really good. Especially in his first season, the 2020-21 season. He bagged 20 plus goals, his best goal scoring tally in his career, full stop. That was his peak. If you were going statistically, 2020-21 Morata was his peak. And he scored quite a lot of big goals. He wasn't great in the big moments against Porto, for example, but I thought he was a very useful asset to Pirlo's team that helped us win the Coppa Italia and the Supercoppa. So for me, Morata's 2-year loan spell was good. I think he was a good striker. He offered us quite a lot, and I kind of low-key wish we signed him. He did drop off a little bit in the 21-22 season, but regardless, I always have a soft spot for Morata in my heart. And I think both his loan spells were really, really good. Obviously, I think the first one was better for the moments and everything like that. He was younger, but I do think the 2020-21 season was the peak of Morata's career that we've seen, at least as of now, and I don't think he's really going to improve on that. And moving on now, we got Federico Chiesa. For me, this really isn't up for conversation. Straight in the elite side, and arguably the best signing we've made in the last 5 years. This guy was incredible for us. I remember when we signed him, I had never been so excited for a signing since Cristiano Ronaldo. I loved Chiesa at Fiorentina. I thought he was electric, bro. He was quick. He was tenacious. He was direct. He was brave. He was everything you wanted in a winger. And that first season at Juventus, that first season encapsulated everything. I mean, he scored a brace at the San Siro against AC Milan. I will never forget that. He assisted on his debut, then got sent off, I believe. It was crazy. But I was like, wow, this guy is really attached to the shirt. This guy gives 110% every single match week. Him, Cristiano Ronaldo, Cuadrado, Morata. The options we had in attack that season were lethal. And obviously, we can't forget what he did in the Euros of 2021 as well. That was his first season at Juventus. He took the world by storm, scored against Spain, scored against Austria, helped Italy lift the Euros, was one of the best players in that tournament. And at his peak in that summer, he was worth like 80, 90 million. There was a lot of clubs saying, oh, will Chiesa go to England? The Premier League, City were lurking, Chelsea were lurking. Will he go to Spain? And the ACL tear ruined everything. But for me, I don't care. Yes, he wasn't the same player post his ACL tear, and I know he missed a lot of games because of it. For me, it was an elite signing for what he gave us in that season. We saw prime Chiesa at the club. He won't reach that level again in his career. I loved Chiesa. I wish it ended differently, and I feel like if we didn't have Motta last year, it could have ended differently. So for me, Federico Chiesa is an elite signing. That's just my prerogative. Moving on now to McKennie, still at the club, of course. The only player, actually Arthur's still at the club. But McKennie's still part of the squad, playing consistently still. McKennie's a weird one because I didn't really know what to expect when we signed him. I was like, wow, this seems like a PR move, signing an American, social media awareness in the biggest country in the Western world. But to be fair, McKennie surprised me. He had his moments in the first season, of course, scored at the Camp Nou. But he was an up and down player. But then we sent him out on loan to Leeds. He wasn't great. He came back, but he improved massively. He worked really, really hard. I think in the last few seasons, he's offered us a lot. I still think he's a useful asset to the squad. Do I think he's good enough to start for Juventus? Probably not. But is he better than I expected him to be? Yes. Where would I put him? I think he's floating around the good/decent sort of realm. 5 years at the club though, on and off moments. I think in the last few years he's been good. At the start he was decent. That sort of averages out. And I quite like McKennie, so I'm going to put him in that good section for now. Moving on now, and for those that can't see, this isn't the clearest picture, but this is Kulusevski. I have to say, I loved Kulusevski at Juventus, but I feel like for a lot of non-Juventus fans, this is quite a forgettable transfer. I think people forgot he played for Juve. He came off the bat of the young player of the season when he was on loan at Parma into the Juventus team with Pirlo. Had his moments, scored on his debut in that 3-0 win against Sampdoria in the opening game of the season. I liked Kulu, and I saw a lot of potential. I saw a high ceiling, and it's just a shame it didn't work out. He just didn't fit into Allegri's system, that 3-5-2. He was coming in and out of the squad. I remember he scored against Roma in that crazy 4-3 win when De Sciglio scored in the last minute, or the last moments, I believe. I think it was the right thing for him to do, to move on, to leave the club and go to Tottenham, and he's improved massively. He's sort of revitalised his career. Where would I rank him in terms of time spent at Juventus? He had his moments. It is quite forgettable. Rovella I put in forgettable because he barely played. Kulusevski did play. So I'm going to put him in decent. But I do think as a player, he's higher. But just time spent at Juventus, he's got to go there. Moving on to Vlahovic now. Big money signing, 70, 80 odd million we spent in January 2022. Again, super excited for this. Him and Chiesa, top two, like most excited, anticipated transfers almost out of all these guys. And has he lived up to the expectation? It's a tough question. I've spoken about Vlahovic so much on my channel. I don't really want to get too repetitive on the subject. But I think for the price tag and the fact that he was replacing Cristiano Ronaldo, he probably didn't live up to the expectation of a lot of fans because people were expecting him to have a return similar to Ronaldo, despite Ronaldo being one of the greatest goal scorers of all time, making this situation very illogical. Has he lived up to the price tag? Probably not. Are his numbers bad at Juventus? No. He helped us win the Coppa Italia. He scored in the final. He showed a lot of heart and desire for the badge. And again, Vlahovic has had his moments. He's scored in big games. Yes, he's missed very, very, very quite bad chances over the years, but it's natural. A lot of strikers do. I'm not saying Vlahovic is an elite level striker with the very best I've ever seen in my life. No, he's not. He is a good striker and he's not as bad as people make him out to be. I do feel he's quite disrespected at Juventus simply because of the price tag we paid and the expectations a lot of fans had because of that price tag. Me personally, I never expected him to replace Ronaldo. I never expected him to get a fraction of the goals that Ronaldo got. However, I expected him to do a little bit more maybe than he has done so far. Not too much more, 15 odd goals more in total. But I do think overall Vlahovic has been a good signing. He helped us win the Coppa Italia. He's been one of the best players at the club since he signed. Moving on now to Zakaria. I mean, we signed the guy when we signed Vlahovic. He played 6 months. He got shipped off. It was a weird one. I mean, he went to Chelsea for a bit, barely played there, forgettable transfer. Now he's at Monaco, I believe. Just forgettable, bro. I do think he deserved more game time, and I didn't really understand the whole Zakaria move in the end, having gotten rid of him when we just signed him. I wanted to see more of him at the club. He also scored on his debut in the Serie A alongside Vlahovic. But yeah, just forgettable, really. Moving on to Federico Gatti now, current player. Plays consistently, bought him for 9 million euros from Frosinone. A poetic rise to the top of football, was a bricklayer, became a Juventus player. Very noble and really inspiring journey for anyone in life. Literally anything is possible. And I commend Gatti for that. And I think Gatti is a decent centre-half. I don't think he's elite. I don't think he can become elite. I don't think he has any elite traits. He's physically good. He's aggressive. He plays for the badge. He puts his head where people are scared to put their feet. Technically, he's nowhere near the level of a top elite level footballer. In the reading of the game, again, he's not there like a Chiellini, but we know this. He's a decent player, but what I think he's done for Juventus is good. I got to put him in the good category because I think he hasn't really put his foot wrong too many times. But I think overall for the price tag, what he's given to the club, I think Gatti will stay at the club for quite a long time. I like Gatti as well, man. He's a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve. he's a really nice guy as well. I got to put Gatti in good, man. Moving on to Moise Kean now, his second spell at Juventus. Of course, we re-signed him back from Everton after his loan spell at PSG. We need to remember, we sold him for a good amount to Fiorentina. We didn't really lose money on him. He had his moments in his return. Injuries sort of hindered everything. His lack of game time, his inconsistency definitely was a factor. And now I think him moving to Fiorentina was a massive move for his career, a massive level up. He's doing a lot better. Moise Kean, his return was just decent. It wasn't anything special. I remember that little run up to the World Cup, was incredible. I mean, he was firing. He was one of the most informed strikers in Europe, and like the 4 or 5 games before the World Cup, but he just couldn't find that form consistently for Juventus, I'm afraid. He probably deserved a bit more game time than he got, but it was the correct decision for him to move on. But I also liked him when he did return. He had his moments, but for me, decent. Next up, Kaya George. I mean, I'm going straight forgettable. I do feel for the guy. He had a really, really bad injury. I believe to like his Achilles or something, like set him out for well over a year. Now he's in Brazil, I want to say for Cruzeiro. Performing really, really good there, so I'm really happy for him. But we just never saw the guy at Juventus. We cannot judge him and evaluate him as a footballer. Injuries killed him. He was very young when he signed for the club. He just didn't get game time. But again, wish him nothing but the best, but a forgettable move. Moving on now to the captain, Locatelli. For me, he goes straight into good. I think potentially in that elite category, you could sort of flirt with very, very soon. But for me, Locatelli has really made that jump up from last season and this season so far. I think when he signed in 21-22, those first 2-3 years were a little bit like decent. He just had his moments, like the goal in the derby against Torino that won us the game. He was up and down. It was weird. It was almost like we didn't really know. 3-man midfield, 2 double pivot. Where's he gonna fit? Was he an 8? Was he a 6? Where is he gonna play? And I feel like with Allegri, obviously he still had to develop and modify his game, but we didn't see the Locatelli that we've seen over the past year or so. I think he improved massively last season, especially towards the end of the season. And this season he started off as arguably our best player. I mean, he's leading a lot of the charts in the top 5 leagues for most progressive passes, for example. The guy is topping Luca Modric in like a lot of percentiles, topping Nico Paz in a lot of percentiles in the Serie A. So this season for me has been absolutely incredible. I think eventually he'll become elite because I don't think we spent too much on him, 30 odd million. It was a decent price, but I don't think he's had the high heights of a Chiesa. They do play different positions, so it's kind of subjective what you describe as high heights. But for me, I think good. Moving on to Bremer now, for me, this one's elite. Everything about this signing was elite. We stole him from Inter. He replaced De Ligt, was way better than De Ligt was at the club. He became best centre-half in Italy, one of the best centre-halves in Europe. The only negative about Bremer is he literally tore his ACL last year, setting him aside for a season. That's the only negative I can think of, and that's not even in his control. That was just unfortunate. This guy's one of the best in the game. For me, he gets into a lot of clubs in the world. I love Bremer. Defensively, he's so sound. Physically, he's so imposing. He's great in the air. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a very intelligent defender. And he makes the defenders around him look so much better. We've seen when he played this season, he raises the level of Gatti, Lloyd Kelly. When he doesn't play this season, we suffer massively at the back. Bremer is elite. Moving on to Di Maria now. Di Maria, I never liked the Juventus. This is a hard one. I don't actually know where I'm going to place him because did I want to sign him? No. Did I want Dybala to leave at the time? No. Did he replace Dybala? Yes. Did he use us as a training facility to go to the World Cup? Yes. Did he win the World Cup? Yes. Fair play. All right, cool. You had Messi in your team, but you scored in the final. You were good. The fact of the matter is we were used by Di Maria. We were manipulated. Like Tyreek on Love Island manipulates girls. Do you understand? He used us as a platform to go to the World Cup. Fair play, smart guy, whatever. Yes, he had his moments. He scored a hat-trick against Nantes. He scored arguably the best goal I've ever seen in a Juventus shirt. That blitz curler, whatever the hell he did against Nantes. Incredible goal. Was Di Maria world-class? Like in his career, yes, for sure. Was he world-class at Juventus? No, the numbers don't prove that. Was he good at Juventus for that season? On paper, yes. But it was only 1 year. He used us to go to the World Cup, then he cut. For me, I never liked Di Maria. I have to be honest with you. Can I put him on the same category as Moise Kean and Kulusevski? No, because he was better that season than any of these two were in any of their seasons. So I got to put him in good. But I don't like Di Maria. But objectively, his performances after the World Cup, he had moments though. He wasn't consistent. He scored at Napoli in that bad beating. But I'll go good. But maybe I've put too many players in good and some need to be dropped down to decent, you know. We'll reevaluate at the end. Maybe I'm being too generous. Moving on now. This is my glorious King Cambiaso. Come on, man. Let's not even show crown. Guys, being serious right now. Bought him for Genoa from nothing. Became the best fullback in the world at one point. I stand by that. No, he's not. The injury kind of killed Cambiaso, but there was a point before that injury. 23-24 Cambiaso, 24-25 Cambiaso. The guy was a joy to watch. He could play in a 5-pack. fullback, on the left or the right, the most ambipedal fullback on earth. At one point, our most creative player. Great first touch, great technically, inverts in the midfield as an 8. I still love Cambiaso. I think he's dropped off a level since his injury. For me, elite level signing. We could have sold him as well in January for like 65 million. Would have been massive profit. I got to put him in elite. Moving on to Kostic, for me, straight into decent. Had his moments in his first season, the 22-23 season. The odd moment in the 23-24 season. Dropped off a little bit. Physically, he wasn't there. He was Asian, rare tear. Always scored against Inter, so I got to big him up for that. But now, let's be honest, he's cooked. He's not at the level to play at Juventus. He made a little cameo against AC Milan. Barely touched the ball. Just there for squad rotation, really, and depth, but he's all right. Moving on to Paredes, straight forgettable. I mean, I forget this guy played for Juventus. Was there for only 1 year. Horror 1 year. Did nothing. I think he scored 1 free kick. That's about all I can remember. He dyed his hair blonde. I believe he played against Fiorentina on his debut. He did my head in. I didn't like his performance at all. I didn't like Paredes. I've never rated Paredes. I don't like Paredes. Forgettable. But he was alone, so we didn't waste a lot of money on him, luckily. But straight forgettable. Milik now. Milik's a weird one, bro. His loan to obligation wasn't a lot of money. But, bro, like 22-23 Milik, 23-24 Milik. Had his moments, to be fair to him. Scored against Benfica in the Champions League. Scored a crazy free kick, I want to say, at Lecce. Maybe I'm wrong, but he scored a crazy free kick to win us a game in the last minute against someone. I think it was Lecce, but I might be mistaken. But he hasn't played a single minute in the last 2 odd years. He didn't play any games in the 24-25 season. Hasn't played any games so far. He's still on the books, which is insane to me. But he had his moments. Decent striker, nothing special. Mid, like 5.5 out of 10 max. But just decent. Moving on to Paul Pogba. This one probably hurts me the most. He is one of my favourite footballers of all time. You guys know this. My second favourite Juventus player ever behind Paulino Dybala. I love Paul Pogba. I wanted to be Pogba when I was younger. But this is on his return. I am judging the Paul Pogba that signed on a free in 2022. The guy that barely played any games. I don't think he started 1 match. I don't think he played more than 4 matches in total. Like over 360 minutes, I'm saying. He didn't score a single goal. It was just sad. He got banned for doping, constant injuries, physically wasn't there anymore. But what was poetic about Paul Pogba was I was at his last ever game live in the flesh. Empoli away. When Chiesa scored, Danilo scored, Pogba scored, it got disallowed. I was at his last ever Juventus game, then he got banned for doping. So that was quite poetic. I grew up with Pogba, I idolised Pogba, and I saw him wear a Juventus shirt for the very last time in his career, and I was there. But with the expectation I had of Paul Bill, I'm sorry, flop. It hurts for me to say it, but his return was a flop. Moving on to Weah now. I liked Weah. We signed him for like 10 million. We sold him for like 20 odds. Made a little profit on him. 23-24. He wasn't great. He had his moments under Allegri, but for me, he leveled up massively last season. And he performed really, really well under Motta. So played in that wing back role, right back role, sometimes right mid, but he just did good. I liked Weah. I was sad when he left. I do think now he could be useful to us. I'm looking at the system we're playing now. Imagine we had him wing back. He's better than João Mario. He's better than Kalulu there. He's better than whoever you want to put there, McKennie there. I didn't understand selling Weah. I was against it in the summer. I'm against it now. I liked Weah a lot. I got to put him in good. For the season he had last year, I got to put him in good, but I feel like I got to drop some of these guys. But we're going to see. Moving on now, Thiago Giallo. I mean, this guy's forgettable. Again, random signing by Giuntoli. He signed him for like 8 million. I think he's still on the books. I don't know where he's playing now. I want to say Porto. He was horrible in the friendly against the Next Gen in the summer. I watched him. He literally looked like he was a League 2, League 3 level player, like Sunday League player. It was insane. This guy here, Carlos Alcaraz, brava. This is probably the worst loan deal ever in Juventus history. We spent like 5-6 million on a guy that played in the Championship at Southampton, was useless when he played for us. He's one of the worst players I've seen. I'm not going to put him in flop because there was no expectation there. I knew he'd be horrible. I'm going to put him in forgettable. Rubbish transfer by Giuntoli. Again, Facundo Gonzalez. I think he's still on contract at the club. I think he's playing in Valencia in Spain. Guy never played. I mean, these are signings that just are insane to me. These 3 here are just bizarre signings that Giuntoli made. Useless signings. Will Facundo Gonzalez ever play a game for us? Probably not, but we'll see. I mean, I can't put them in flops, guys. I mean, in terms of performances when they've played, like he hasn't played. He played and he was horrible. But I can't put him in a flop. We didn't spend a lot on him. I had no expectations for him. How can he flop my expectations? He hit my expectations, which were floppable. Anyway, now we're going to hit a few flops because we're going on the transfers from last summer and this summer, so more recent ones. Coop Miners, straight flop. I hate to be that guy. But I'm going to be that guy. Coop Miners, really nice guy. Works really hard, covers a lot of ground, wants to make the difference at Juventus. 65 million, I would say even if we spent 20 million on him, he would be considered a flop. He wasn't half as good as Weah was, for example, and we got Weah for 10 million. That says enough. We expected the Coop miners that we saw at Atalanta. A guy that was bagging 12, 13, 14, 15 goals a season, getting double goals and assists, making a difference. We have seen a Coop miners that is afraid to get on the ball, scared to make the risky decision. It's insane. He wants to play it safe. You can't pay 60, 65 million for a player like that. You need to make the difference. The ball cannot burn when it comes to your feet. The ball cannot be heavy at your feet. You need to play with freedom for that price. Do you understand what I'm saying? Actually, matter of fact, you need to play with freedom anyway if you're playing at a level at a club like Juventus. I feel like the shirt weighs too much on him. And I don't want to be negative, but for me, Coop miners will not ever be worth that money that we spent. I'm sorry. I hate to be that guy. Coop miners at Juventus will never be worth the 60 odd million we spent on it. The only thing that could potentially save him is him in a 4-3-3 with Locatelli at the base, Thuram as a box-to-box, and him in the advanced 8. That's the only maybe system. But even if we play that system, I have Adzic ahead of him in that advanced 8. I have Miretti ahead of him when he returns in that advanced 8. You can even argue McKennie. Great guy, works very hard. Feel for him because he gives 110%. But he's just not all there footballing wise. Moving on now, another flop, Douglas Luiz. I mean, do we really need to explain this one? I was convinced both of them would succeed, and I hoped and I prayed they'd succeed. Douglas Luiz, I put on my away shirt. The guy never played. Constant injuries, in and out of the squad by Motta. When he did play, he didn't make the difference. He looked lazy. He looked like he didn't want to be there. Should he have gotten more game time? I think so. But overall, not a great signing. And now at Forest, he's barely playing there. He's not playing great in England. He'll probably get shipped back to us knowing our luck. He probably won't reach the obligation of the amount of appearances he has to make before they sign him. But overall, flop. Moving on to Kefren Thuram. I've only seen a season of him, but I'm going straight elite. One season, one incredible season. We got him for a great price at 20 million. One of the only decent deals that Jauntily ever has done in his life. And with Thuram, it's kind of crazy because he wasn't the biggest signing we made last summer. It was Coop Miners and Douglas Luiz in terms of midfielders. Those were the two where we had really high expectations. Thuram was just kind of a shot in the dark. Bit of a PR signing. His dad played for Juventus, his brothers at Inter, little rivalry. But my goodness, Kefren Thuram has been incredible since starting. Absolute engine. What a midfielder, one of the best in the country. And he's only going to improve. He's only going to develop. I love Kefren Thuram. Every Juventus fan loves Kefren Thuram. This for me is already elite level signing. Moving on to Alberto Costa. Again, barely played. He played like 6 months. I think we should have kept him. I liked Alberto Costa. For me, I called him the Roadrunner. You know, that cartoon character. This guy was like a human Lucozade bottle. Hella energy up and down the flank. Alberto Costa should still be playing at Juventus. For me, he was decent though. We didn't see enough of him. Moving on to Cabal now as well. Played a lot at the start of last season. Tore his ACL. Is injured again now. Got injured against Villarreal. Decent player. Haven't seen a lot of him. Can't really judge him. Decent is literally the perfect category. Moving on to Chico Conceição. For me, good. 100%. Had his moments last year, has been good so far this season. We got him for a good price of like 30 odd million. Brave winger, direct winger, versatile winger. I like Conceição a lot. I'm a big fan of his. For me, good signing. Moving on now to Nico Gonzalez, straight flop. Spent 40 odd million on him, shipped off after one season. Was meant to replace Sule despite him being half the player Sule is. Constantly injured, not a good signing. Adzic now, I think a lot of people forget that he didn't actually grow up in the next gen when he was really young. We signed the guy. But for me, he's got a really, really high ceiling. He's got a bright future ahead. He's going to be one of the most important players in our team for the years to come. Already been good this season when he's made cameos, scored the winner against Inter. However, we haven't seen so much of him in the first team, so I got to put him decent for now. But I think in terms of projectile, he could become elite quite easily for the price we paid, for the ceiling he has. My goodness, what a player. But for now, decent, just because we haven't seen him a lot of him. Di Gregorio now good, 18 odd million. We signed him as one of the better keepers in the league. He's made a couple mistakes, but overall he's been really, really solid in goal. I like Di Gregorio. For me, good signing. Nothing special, not elite, but good. Renato Vega now, loan deal for 6 months. We probably overpaid on the loan, but we needed a centre-back in January. No option, no obligation. Did his thing. Nothing special. Decent though. Lloyd Kelly now, again. I think the scenario, the situation of Lloyd Kelly is what makes the transfer bad. The fact that Bournemouth let him go on a free to Newcastle, who then sold him to us for like 20 million 6 months later after barely playing in the Premier League, when we sold Dean Huijsen to Bournemouth, who lost Kelly for free for like 15 million, who then went on to have a great season, is now at Madrid as one of the best defenders in the world. So the situation makes it a lot bad. Is Kelly a bad player? He's average. He's decent. He's like a 5 out of 10 footballer. He's not elite. He's not good enough really to play for Juventus. This season he's been alright to be fair, but Bremer's made him look a lot better than he actually is. For me, Kelly is decent. He's nothing special. Kalulu now. I mean, Kalulu, we got on a loan with obligation of like 15 million. We took it from AC Milan. I think last season he was good. This season he started quite poorly, but he's not a right wing back. He can't play in that role. I wouldn't be mad at you if you put him in good, but for me, decent. Like, he's all right. Colomwani now, loan deal, but good. He should have signed for Juventus. We should have bought him, not Openda. This guy here, I loved him. Never fall in love with a loan player. I did. What a player. Had moments, was a good finisher. He would just fit the team perfectly right now. He was a hero in dark times. He united the squad. He was integral in us getting top 4. The vibe around Colomwani was just perfect, man. That run of games he went on where he kept scoring. Napoli scored a brace at home the game after. He scored at Como. Like, I miss him, man. And now we have the 4 signings from this season. Openda, David, Joao Mario and Zagrova. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rank them based on where I think they will be at within the next year or so. So my predictions of them, there's no point doing so far. They've played like 5 games. But where I think they will be at. Openda, I hate to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy, but I don't think Openda will be great at Juventus. I look at what he's done so far off the bench or when he started. For me, he has no special characteristics. His best trait is the fact that he's quick. But in Italy, a lot of the teams play low block. There's not much room behind the line of the defence. So his pace, his energy won't suit the Italian league perfectly. He's not a great finisher. I've seen him miss quite a lot of good opportunities. I don't think he should be starting at Juventus. And for the money we paid, the 40-odd million, that's what I'm saying. I would have rather gotten Colomwani. I think it was a bit of a panic buy. It didn't really make much sense to me. I was excited because every signing I'm excited for. Heard good things in Germany, but so far he hasn't translated his game. So I'm predicting that he won't live up to the expectation. However, I hope I'm wrong. David, on the other hand, I think will be a good signing. We bought him on a free. I think he's a good striker. His goal scoring proven record has been quite incredible over the last few years in France. He's missed a few sitters already. He scored in his debut in the Serie A though. I have faith in Jonathan David. Joao Mario will just be forgettable or decent. I mean, wherever you want to put him, I'll put him decent. Just nothing special. I mean, I said it was a bad transfer when we swapped him with Alberto Costa. I saw him in a few friendlies. I was like, oh, maybe I was wrong about Joao Mario. I've seen him so far this season. I don't think I was wrong. He can't defend. He's okay going forward. He's nothing too special. He's physically not imposing at all. He needs to get bigger. He cannot compete at the level of Italian football right now physically. He's got decent feet. But again, for me, Joao Mario, he needs to start more. It's hard for me to judge him in moments. The same as David, the same as Openda. These are just predictions. From what I've seen of Joao Mario so far, I think he'll be okay. But even Openda, he could be in this category easily. I just think for the money we paid of Openda, which was a lot more than Joao Mario, I just don't think Openda will live up to that. As for Zagrova, I'm looking at an elite level talent for me. I think 15 million we spend. This guy has incredible feet. He's a tricky winger. He's a modern day winger. I absolutely love the guy. For me, it's bizarre he hasn't started a single game yet. And if I was Tudor, I would hang my head in shame. The fact that he got no minutes against Villarreal, the fact that he got no minutes against AC Milan. This guy here needs to be starting game in, game out, week in, week out on that right-hand side. He is one of the most talented players we have at the club. Probably in terms of pure talent, he's probably second behind Kenan. This guy is a joke. I think Zagrova will be an elite level talent. And if he isn't, that's only because we wasted him as a club or he's had constant injuries. One of the two. There's only 2 ways about it. Because this guy here has everything you want in a winger. Everything you want to go right to the top level of football. Maybe it's a bit harsh putting Openda there, but I feel like I've seen this story before. This is my ranking. In terms of if I had to really rank them on like number 1 signing for me, Bremer would be the number 1. I don't really want to rank every single one categorically. I kind of just wanted to put them in categories. Will I drop anyone down in good? Maybe you could drop down Di Maria because it was only 1 season. Maybe you could drop down McKennie and Gatti because they had moments. But I think overall, it's quite fair. I think it's quite fair. But let me know in the comments as always, boys, what you think. Also, comment below what tier list, what ranking do you want to see next? I'm always open for ideas. Let me know. And if I like it, I'll do it. And I'll shout you out as well. But subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video, share it to some friends. And I'll see you in the next one, boys.